Um, as we got, um, as Luke got older, which he's 5 now, so this happened in the past 3 years. Um, you know, I would avoid taking him out places because I just couldn't. I knew what was going to happen. I knew he was going to throw a fit. I knew there was going to be screaming and thrashing and kicking and biting and spitting, because he was just on sensory overload. And I just, in order to avoid that, I stayed home. And so I'm not working. I'm staying at home with this child, 24/7, who keeps me up all night long. Um, and it was just, I was very overwhelmed. And I still am at times, but it's getting better. But at that point, the anxiety really started kicking in. So it started off in small things, and then it led to the anxiety kind of uh, spilled over into other areas of my life. And I got to the point to where, I know it sounds crazy, but I couldn't even drive, um, without having an anxiety attack. Um, I couldn't even walk out the door. I mean, you hear these people and they're like, "Oh, I can't leave my house because I'm too scared." I think it's called agoraphobia. Yeah, I so had that, and I would just think these were just horrible thoughts. Like if we went to, like when I went to the doctor, and the finally when I was finally getting treated for the anxiety, and we were on the second level, and I'm like looking out the window because like I always was thinking about the bad things that could happen, and I would look out. I remember looking out the second window, going, "Okay, actually, I think we were on the third story." And the building next to us had a roof when I was looking out the window, and I was thinking, okay, so if fire happens, I'm gonna break out of this window. Um, Somehow I'm gonna go and jump onto the building right on the roof next door, and then there was a tree next to that, and I just would think crazy things, and like if I would drive over bridges and think about, I don't know, it was just crazy, horrible, horrible thoughts all day long. Like, what if this happened? What if that happened? It's just it spilled over into every area of my life. It got to the point to where, um, even just basic, simple tasks like cooking dinner would bring on horrible anxiety attacks, and it was. I think I dealt with that. It was a gradual process for over about maybe a year, year and a half, before I finally realized, I'm trapped in my house. I can't even cook dinner for my family because I'm having an anxiety attack. And the way I dealt with my anxiety was eating. For some reason, when I would eat, the anxiety attack would go away. So I was having anxiety attacks like all day long, and I'm like freaking out. I'm trying to stuff my face at the same time, and so I'm thinking I'm dying, and I'm like eating, and it was bad. Um, but now I've got the help. I don't mind sharing this with you. I got on this medication called Lexapro for my anxiety, and the doctor diagnosed me with just, classic anxiety. Um, I guess just being emotionally and physically drained, dealing with Luke, and being overweight, and just everything all, it just took over my life. And so I am happy to report that I guess I've been on the Lexapro for about a year now, and it took about 3 months before I really started feeling better with it. Before I noticed the anxiety, and I wasn't really taking the Lexapro for depression, but when you're stuck in the house all the time because you can't even like open the door or cook dinner, then excuse me, you know that you're gonna have an anxiety attack. And anyway, I've just lost my train of thought, but it's gotten better. And in the beginning, it was the medicine was kind of, and I guess you are depressed because you're, full of anxiety all the time. So you're like trapped in the house, trapped with a child that can't communicate and who's constantly screaming and kicking. And anyway, he's doing better. I've been on the Lexapro, but during that year and a half to 2 years dealing with anxiety, and eating to control the feelings, I've gained a lot of weight. Um, I would say like 80 to 100 pounds. And it didn't take really that long to put it on to begin with. Recently, they found out that I have a thyroid problem. I think they call it hypothyroidism, where it's basically a sluggish thyroid, and it means that I have a really hard time losing weight, but have it's really easy for me to gain weight. So I was on a steady climb after I was on the Lexapro, and I tried another diet and it didn't work. And I was so discouraged because I wasn't using food to um, take care of the anxiety, and it was very discouraging. And when they found that out, and I started taking the Synthroid, which is like a thyroid replacement pill, thyroid hormone. Anyway, um, the weight loss. I mean, not the weight loss. I wish there was weight loss, but I mean the weight gain. It pretty much slowed down. I mean, I was gaining like, you know, 10 pounds a month, and it was just 10 or more. So I just wanted to let y'all know that because that's one of the reasons why I'm at the place that I am now. And honestly, I'm still gonna have issues to deal with Luke, even after I have the surgery. Um, I guess the food has become an addiction. Even after dealing with um, my anxiety issues with food, I still use food to help me feel better emotionally, not necessarily to get rid of the anxiety. So I'm gonna have to find something to replace that, and I'm really hoping and I'm praying that I can replace that with exercise. Obviously, right now I can't just get up and go take a jog around the block. I mean, I'm being serious here. I can barely like walk out to the bathroom down the hall without getting out of breath. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just, I mean, when I was in high school, I was very active and I ran track and I was on drill team, believe it or not. I mean, I did aerobics, I did step class, I lifted weights, and now look at me. I'm like, just can't hardly do anything. And a lot that has to do with Luke, but I don't want to blame it all on him. So this is something I'm gonna have to deal with because as optimistic as I am, I'm also realistic about the idea that he may need help for the rest of his life. And so this issue is not going to go away. It's not something that can just be fixed overnight. And so I'm trying to learn how to deal with um, eating and anxiety and emotional issues without eating. And like I said, I'm hoping and praying that hopefully I can um, replace that with exercise or something else. But exercise is the only good thing I can think of that would come from it. Um, so, if I exercise as much as I eat, then I don't know, I probably exercise on like hours a day. But anyway, I just wanted to let y'all know that's kind of how I got to where I am. Of course, I mean, there's some other issues with food, and I've pretty much always used food as um, a medication, but it's just for emotional issues or, feeling bad, feeling sad, whatever. So, um, I guess that's all for now. I just wanted to be candid with everyone, and um, I don't know if other people have dealt with their anxiety about eating as well, but that's just my issue and my corner of the world.